Yo, what's good, Spirit Squad? Today we're going to be playing Azorius Spirits in preparation for the regional championship that's happening in Atlanta next month. And we've got a lot of really cool, exciting things to talk about. First, and probably the biggest thing on everybody's mind, is the fact that Cavern of Souls is now legal, which is a bit of a double-edged sword for us because we're a creature deck, but we're also a counterspell deck. So, is Cavern of Souls actually good for us? And I think the answer is a tentative yes, but you can read a lot more about that on my article on themanabase.com. With that said, we're also going to be playing 2 copies of Mutavault in the main here, with a lot of dual lands. So we're going to be back up to all 4 copies of a Darker Waste because we do still want lots of our non-creature spells that are blue and white. So we want things like Spell Pierces, Curious Obsessions, Geistlight Snare, all of the sideboard cards basically, and a new super sweet removal spell for us, Get Lost. So this thing's going to be just 1 and a white, and it destroys target creature, enchantment, or planeswalker, and that thing's controller creates 2 map tokens. Map tokens let creatures on the board explore, but most creatures in Pioneer are going to be ground based, so we don't really care too much about that. And if they're using mana to explore, even 1 mana, then it still does make our cards like Geistlight Snare and Spell Pierce that much better. Everything else, though, is pretty normal Spirits fare. Our 1 mana interaction of choice is going to be Spell Pierce because of the fact that Get Lost exists. Because we can now deal with resolved creatures like Pelucranos and Shieldred, I care a lot less about trying to draw things like Lofty Denial at the right time. Instead, I can rely on cards like Get Lost to just deal with them, whether they are resolved or they're getting ready to resolve. We know we can kill them immediately. And there is some trade-off though. So we know that this does mean that we're going to have to deal with some enters the battlefield type stuff from things like Omnath, Cavalier of Thorns, and all kinds of other creatures. But you don't need to draw a removal spell on exactly the relevant turn. You can draw a removal spell whenever and still deal with the creature later. So I'm willing to take that trade-off and test it out. Our sideboard is just a giant pile of interactive white cards, which is exactly where I think we want to live right now. We've got 4 copies of Portable Hole. I do expect decks like Humans, which is probably the biggest beneficiary of Cavern of Souls, to see a huge spike in usage. Even with Boros Convoke being a played deck in the format, I think Humans is also very good. We've got 3 copies of Evasion and Gobakhan, primarily for the removal piles like Rakdos and Is It Phoenix. We don't need to talk more about the power of this card. We've already seen it. It's not broken. I'm not fixing it. Wedding Announcement, same thing. Catilda, with Boros Convoke being one of the most popular decks in the format, I really want ways to just be able to beat them in combat. And Catilda is definitely a way to do that. It doesn't hurt that Catilda is really good in the mirror. It's good against any of those like random Monastery Swiftspear piles. It's good against humans. So I think Catilda has a real place in the metagame right now. We've also got 2 copies of Settle the Wreckage, primarily for Boros Convoke, but there's a lot of other aggressive attacking decks that this could be some good for. Maybe even side one of them in against something like green-red Sagas or Humans or something like that, right? But there's plenty of decks that try to do a lot of attacking, and Settle the Wreckage is pretty good at giving the middle finger to that plan. I don't really think I have additional input on this list right now, as other than the new cards, it's pretty stock as far as both main and sideboard things go, with the exception of Settle the Wreckage being a lot more popular because of Boros Convoke. So I guess that's enough jibber jabber. Let's get into some gameplay. Okay, so this weekend, FusionGamingOnline.com is having a Black Friday sale with 20% off all products store-wide. This includes Magic Singles, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, card supplies like deck boxes, sleeves, and playmats, and also, if you happen to be a Canadian national, lots and lots of sealed product available. Check out everything they have this weekend for 20% off at FusionGamingOnline.com. Okay, round 1, we're on the draw against Gigantha, which means we're probably playing against Convoke, and this hand is really slow, so I'm going to go ahead and ship this. And this is a little better, so I'm going to keep this, put back the basic island, and yeah, see if we're allowed to untap on our turn 2. Opponent said good luck. Oh my god, the opponent's username is Dookie Trouser, like Doogie Howser, like the TV personality. That's great. That's good. Okay, it's not a show that I'm old enough to have actually watched, but I'm pretty sure that's a reference to that, and I enjoy that. Okay, so luckily this does not mean Convoke, but this is probably like Bone Crusher Giant mana, and I think I want to just pass. So I'm going to go ahead and untap here. Supreme Phantom does not walk into a Bone Crusher Giant, so I'm going to let that rock. And if they want to spend their next turn casting something like a Obliterating Bolt at this, I'm actually okay with that because that gives me the option of either Spell Queller or Spectral Sailor plus Geistlight next turn, so I can deal with that. Also, I forgot to be polite back to my opponents. Let's do that. Stormseeker. Okay. So it is Gruul vehicles or Sagas or aggro, whatever you want to call the Gruul deck. So I'm going to go ahead and play this land here, and I am going to play the Spectral Sailor during my turn so that this thing doesn't transform into, which is a lot better than the front half. So doing it like this also may disguise the fact that I have a Spell Queller in hand. So if I get to like cast Geistlight Snare and something kind of important, untap, and play Otawara or play another land, then I can make a decision as to whether I want to hold up Spell Queller, simply keep Otawara in hand, do something else with the complements of Geistlight Snare, or simply play to Otawara and have double Geistlight Snare open. There's a lot of options here. So it looks like for now they're just going to turn this thing into a 3/3 itself, take me down to 10, and I am mostly okay with that. So assuming that they actually don't play a spell this turn, then I'm kind of cool with that because I've got the Otawara, and with a land drop I can bounce this. If they, okay, I was gonna say if they do cast a spell, hi, yes, I like that for us. I'm gonna put this here again, looking to fade the Bone Crusher Giant. Like, Spectral Sailor is a technically better target, but it doesn't actually help me evade the removal spell I was playing around for the first couple of turns anyway. And if we manage to draw a single copy of Get Lost, so much the better. Okay. So now we get to go ahead, draw our card, and now we finally get to start our offense. A Mausoleum Wanderer is also pretty good. I'm not going to play that. I'm going to hold up the Spell Queller here. I am no longer holding up Spell Queller. I'm instead just going to Geistlight Snare. And this will transform this back, which is also neat because it allows me to Geistlight Snare something potentially more important than this. So if they want to come at me with something like, I don't know, say like Land of Seeker's Chariot or Huntsman's Redemption or any of those neat things that can potentially get powered up by this, I'm glad to have a counterspell in hand. And that certainly counts as a neat thing I would enjoy countering. So I'll take the 3 from this Stormseeker, but from here, my opponent is pretty much done getting good attacks in. Like, I have a Spell Queller, I get to play a Mausoleum Wanderer, that's a 2/2. My Spectral Sailor plus Mausoleum Wanderer combo means that I will have 4, oh, my Lanta. That's really good for, you know, one of us. Okay, a third Spell Queller. So I remember a thing from the Discord the other day, the Spirits Discord, and the link to that is in the video description, but somebody said one Spell Queller is pretty good, the second Spell Queller is usually unbeatable, and that's kind of how this hand is feeling right now. It's feeling pretty good for just me. Okay, what is this big, bad, dangerous thing that's definitely not happening? Oh, that card's sick. It's got reach. No, that card's actually really good. So I'm pretty sure we're getting a concession after this, but that card's really good. Oh, no, no concession. All right. Well, in that case, I'll simply do this. Again, casting spells during my turn to... Wait, how much am I doing? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I didn't even count. I didn't even bother counting. I just started clicking buttons. All right, so we get to draw our cards, do this. I have already played a spell this turn, but playing a second Mausoleum Wanderer to send a message doesn't really hurt. I technically could have held off on the Wanderer and given myself the ability to draw a card here, but like, there's no way I'm not playing a Spell Queller, right? All right, sick. So my opponent is on green-red vehicles. We like Catilda a little bit here, and I actually do like the Invasion of Gobakons. I don't really like Curious Obsessions. I expect them to be turning into a Rending Valley deck. They usually play at least 4 of those effects and sometimes up to 6, which is kind of insane, but doesn't mean we should really walk into those things, right? But this is going to be like one of those matchups where I'm really, really excited about the idea of having a real removal spell in Get Lost. Like, getting rid of Reckless Stormseeker, even when you're on the draw, is a super huge deal. And I could have also put Portable Holes into our deck to specifically play around like the tokens from Huntsman's Redemption or Llanowar Elf / Elvish Mystic, but I'm going to see how this slower approach works, since I don't actually want to spend cards on Llanowar Elves. I want to spend cards on their real threats, and Get Lost is a card that deals with their real threats. So like, this hand is perfectly acceptable. I've got white source, blue source for Spectral Sailors, blue source for just miscellaneous for Get Lost, turn 3 Catilda, and can't really complain about too much when that's how your game starts, right? So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I can complain a little, but it wouldn't be justified. Mausoleum Wanderer. Okay, so I'm not going to play the Mausoleum Wanderer first. Instead, I'm just going to like see what happens here, deploy the Spectral Sailor. If they actually attack with this thing, I will block, but it looks like that's not what's happening. Instead, I'm stuck dealing with this. But even that's not like the complete end of the world, right? Like, I'm taking this 3. That's just, it is what it is. A Geistlight Snare. So not necessarily the best start here, but I'm currently deciding whether to get lost this now or to let them play something else and go to combat thinking that they're going to actually get to do this thing. And I think that might be the better option currently. So I can choose between counterspelling something with Geistlight Snare or casting Get Lost on this Stormcharge Slasher. And if they just put this onto this, then I'll just block the Llanowar Elves with the Spectral Sailor and kind of keep it pushing from there. But even though this is still a nightmare of a card to deal with on the draw, we're at least more able to deal with it than we were previously, right? Like, this is mostly fine. Mostly. Okay. Oh, that's on me. I did not put a stop in my own, in their main phase. Yep. Oh well. Unfortunate. Happens. So they should attack with these 2. Okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and block the Elvish Mystic. And Get Lost goes here. So now let's see if they want to do anything to the Elvish Mystic with, like, I don't know, maybe Bonecrusher Giant Stomp lives here. Nope, looks like I'm just taking 2. Cool. So we did get to stop that little bit of offensive there, and they can just play something else interesting, right? Oh, they buy Gigantha. Oh my god, yes, let's go. And a thing to know too, that these things right here, those are only sorcery speed. So that's going to be a thing that's kind of important to know about as well. So what do I want to do here? I want to simply Mausoleum Wanderer, holding up Geistlight Snare / Spectral Sailor. If they draw the land, then I can counterspell the Gigantha they just bought. If they don't draw land and they attack, then I can flash in Spectral Sailor and block with a 2/2 Wanderer. So I like giving myself 2 options here. Okay, so they do have the land, so my assumption here is that we're just playing Gigantha with the turn. Oh no, we're actually just making a Lair to Hydra that's a 3/3? I think I'm fine with that. Let's see, I can put in Spectral Sailor, double block here, but then I lose my entire board, and my Catilda is then only a 1/1? No, that sounds kind of bad. I think I'm just going to let this rock. I'll take 3 and go to 12. If that's what you're doing with your entire turn, opponent, I think I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to flash into Spectral Sailor anyway, and do the untap here. Oh, Tawara! That's a pretty good draw for me. So, what do I want to do knowing that that is in my hand? I think I'm still just going to play Catilda, and give myself a 2/2 Mausoleum Wanderer, simply attack, and then with this being a 3/3 right now, specifically Obliterating Bolt sucks. And honestly, so does Rending Valley, but even the back half of Catilda is not bad to put on a Spectral Sailor. And if I draw another land, then I might be able to Geistlight Snare as well. I don't mind an awkward block with Spectral Sailor if need be, but I don't think I want to take this down from 3/3 range currently. I think I want to keep it a 2/2 to play best around Bonecrusher Giant. Okay, we shock in the land. That's a little surprising. So let's see what we want to do now. Are we just casting the Gigantha? We are. Okay. And that's fine. I'm good with that. So unless this is Rending Valley exactly, then I don't necessarily hate this. Fuck. Alright, fine. It's always Rending Valley. Untap. So Spell Pierce doesn't help against Rending Valley anyway, so it is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on my friend Spectral Sailor here. And do I attack for 4 or 5? How much can they attack me back for? They can attack for 5, 6, 7, 8. this is fine. So if they have something with haste, then their potential to attack me for something super large with the Lair to Hydra can get out of hand pretty quickly, but most other things are currently solvable, I think. And we're at 16, so like I am currently winning the race. Like I'm on a 2-turn clock. That might have actually changed things. Mutavault being their specific land drop is pretty good. But if I draw another spirit, or if I draw a piece of interaction that's not a counterspell, so like even a well-timed invasion of Gobakhan, or like specifically a Get Lost would be insane. Yeah, I've got a lot of really good draws right now, so I think I'm okay with this so far. Sky Sovereign. What does that do for them right now? Well, nothing until next turn because they're not drawing it, but actually I think I'm okay if they have that in hand, because like I can Spell Pierce that, which is really big because I didn't expect to be able to use the Spell Pierce that I drew. So let's see if they actually keep it on top. I think they did. Okay, map token again. So okay, so they're just like overloading on Gigantha and just trying to like get me dead in hopefully 2 turns as far as they're concerned. And if they can't deal with the Spectral Sailor though, then I'm pretty happy about the way things are going. So they can put you up, attack me for what, 10? Yeah, that's an attack for 10. I can deal with that. That's okay. Because Gigantha doesn't get trample or anything, so my Mausoleum Wanderer can block Gigantha next turn. And a Rattle Chains is actually a pretty good draw. So I'm gonna just attack with only Spectral Sailor, and I'm not going to put Rattle Chains in play this turn. So they go down to 5, I go up to 10, and my combination of Rattle Chains, Mausoleum Wanderer, that's 2 blockers, and then 2 pieces of interaction seems pretty good. Yeah, like I don't think they have a really solid way to be able to do 10 damage to me this turn. Like I just don't think that's happening. Not through 2 counter spells and a way to deal with Rending Valley. Whoa, Shockland, okay. Understood, opponent. Okay, so they're going to go ahead and play the Sky Sovereign. So the Sky Sovereign can technically clear this out, and honestly, there's not really a good reason to let it resolve. So I'm actually going to start with the Spell Pierce because I actively want to tempt them into tapping the 2 mana. If they do, then I'm still going to Geistlight Snare it. Okay, so now I'm still going to use the Geistlight Snare because I want this to be in the graveyard. If they decided to just let it be in play, not attack with this, then they can actually block with the Sky Sovereign and just not attack with this. So sweet. So we get a relatively easy 2-0 over honestly a pretty hard matchup, even when they resolve Reckless Stormseeker, just because we have access to Get Lost. And looks like the scenario where we described came up, right? Like we were talking about dealing with that card with Get Lost, even though we were on the draw. And that's exactly what happened. So good start for the Lost Caverns card. Let's go to round 2. Welcome to round 2, y'all. We're on the play, and that's pretty hype always. Our hand is a lot less hype. We don't really keep 1-landers, despite, oh my Lanta, I don't really want a 5-lander either though. Blech. So even if I ship this, there's only 2 action spells, 4 lands. Y'all, I think we're going to 5. I think this is just a sad face go to 5 here. You know what? No, let me stop and think about that. We've got a 1-drop, we've got a Spell Queller, and I've got enough lands to cast basically anything I draw. No, I think I actually do keep this, but acknowledge that I'm really sad about doing so. But there are a few decks that this hand can just beat. Like, for example, if I'm playing against Lotus Field, they're also taking a mulligan. I'm going to go to 5. I'm a lot more comfortable with this 5. All right, cool. So here, I can go ahead and put back both Supreme Phantoms here. Wait, no, I'm on to play. I'm going to keep this, put back a Supreme Phantom in the Rattle Chains. No, that is definitely worse than just doing this. Yeah, I think I like this a little better. So if both the opponent and myself are taking mulligans, then I want to be able to both deal with things and potentially get a 2-for-1 in my Rattle Chains if they, I don't know, are playing something with removal spells. So that effectively unmulligans me. So let's see if that ends up helping. Ornithopter, oh, we're playing against Convoke, and they have the Gleeful, so, nope, there's an Epic here, okay. So they don't have the Gleeful, which is at least a half-decent start here. But at least now, actually Rattle Chains isn't even that bad. So I can go ahead, start my attack here, and I've got now Rattle Chains and Geistlight Snare. So I've got plenty of interaction for most possible things here, and I love that for just us. So now they've got 1, 2, 3, 4. They can't really Convoke yet. So I'm just going to let this Thraben Inspector rock. I'll take the attack for 1. and I will at the end of turn put my friend Rattlechains into play, because it's not like this deck plays removal spells in the main anyway, so I don't really want to waste my potential here by not giving ourselves a chance to, you know, be attacking for as much as possible. So I'm going to attack with just Rattlechains here. So if they have a Convoke creature and I have a counterspell, great. If they don't have a Convoke creature and instead just like start clicking attack buttons, then I get to put in Rattlechains and block with a 2/1 Mausoleum Wanderer. I'm sorry, a 2/2 Mausoleum Wanderer. So that's always hype. And it looks like I am going to be able to counter this Knight Errant here. So pretty happy about that, not gonna lie. Don't really want to give them a chance to unmulligan. And what's this last card? It's, oh, nope, no last card. They're just popping a clue. Got it. Ornithopter, okay. And a Spectral Sailor is the draw. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with both. If they block Mausoleum Wanderer with Ornithopter, then I get to flash in Spectral Sailor. That's pretty hype. Hooray. So now we get to do this. Beat the Ornithopter in combat, and they take 2 going to 14. I don't really want to pretend that I'm going to be blocking Win Some Universe with the Rattlechains here, but if they don't have another Convoke creature, I will be pretty happy to... that sucks. I will be pretty happy to block something nice with the Spectral Sailor. So how much damage are they potentially doing? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? That's not even that bad for me, if I'm being completely honest. So I'm going to put the Rattlechains in, give itself the nice keywords, and I am going to do this, definitely. And I'm deciding how much I care about blocking the Recruiter with this. I could just do this. Take 2, 4, 6, 7, go down to 10, and give myself a chance to draw a card if I draw a land. If I do this, then I take 2, 4, 5, stay at 12, and only have 2 attackers. I don't care really how many attackers I have, I think, because I'm not really in a place to be racing super profitably here. But I do like the idea. Yeah. Okay. So I take that, go down to 10. They don't have another Recruiter here. They do have another land. So with an untapped land, oh, nice. With an untapped land, that means they can get to playing or using the Den of the Bugbearer. But here I'm just going to go ahead, attack for 3, hold up the Spell Queller, and Spell Queller beats any of this nonsense in combat, and it also pumps Mausoleum Wanderer up to a 2/2, so a naked Spell Queller, just like mid-combat, does allow me to eat 2 of their creatures for free. Recruiter is absolutely not happening. And now we are in the happy zone. A Spectral Sailor. Okay, so here I'm going to attack with just these guys, I think. Yeah. Ornithopter can't really block either of these, and I want to hold the Spectral Sailor back to make my Mausoleum Wanderer a potential 2/2 blocker. So here, if they just like attack with all 3 of these, filtering out probably a land, filtering out a Thopter, sure. Actually, I don't mind that they're filtering out a Thopter either, because that means that now they have 1 fewer blocker, and whatever they drew must have been trash too. Well, actually, I wouldn't call an Inspector trash, but it's not super helpful here. Okay, so it is another Thraben Inspector, so now I'm pretty happy about where this next combat goes as well. Opponent seems to not be as happy as I am. Noted. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go, Spell Queller. So now what? I can attack all. If they decide to block here and I put in this, that's still only 6 damage. So I'm instead just going to attack with my double 2-power creatures here, hold up as many blockers as possible, and they're going to go to 3. Cool. So now I don't think there is a top deck that has the ability to beat us here. I think we have successfully managed this game. So they've popped a clue. Cool. And we got there. Hell yeah. Convoke is scary. So we've got some Settled Wreckages, we've got some Catildas, we've got some Portable Holes up here. Cards that I don't necessarily want include... Shacklegeist is actually kind of bad here, because they're just going super wide, and I don't really want to be tapping down 2 of my creatures to tap down 1 of theirs when they're trying to produce like 6 creatures at a time. I also don't want cards that just can't block by themselves. I think I'm also going to just slide out the Obsessions here. Like, they are a Rending Volley deck, but they're not like a full Rending Volley deck. They're a lot more focused on their plan than they are on stopping mine. Which actually means I think I'm going to take out the Spell Pierces on the draw. I think on the play, I keep them because I can deal with Gleeful Demolition. On the draw, I'm a lot less likely, words are hard, to be able to do so. So I think I'm okay with this. So hopefully this time we can keep 7. That'd be kind of cool. Okay. I mean, I'm certainly not about to complain about this. Like, could it be better? Sure, but this is certainly pretty damn good. And the reason I'm not ultra excited about this is because, remember, this is a deck that can play Rending Valley. So the Curious Obsession plan isn't necessarily guaranteed to be great, but, you know, if it's pretty good, not going to complain too much. There's a Thopter, okay. So here, instead of holding up the Spectral Sailor, I'm actually going to play one of my Wassilian Wanderers, and I'm not going to plan on attacking until probably turn 3. Reason is, if they don't have a land, but they do have a Gleeful Demolition, at least I get to counter that. Okay, goodbye Knight Errant. There's a land, and I'm not going to block this. I'm just going to take this one. Nope, they're not going to give that to me. So, do I play around Rending Valley? I think the answer is yes. So I'm going to Mausoleum Wanderer first, and that's going to make this one not really able to be blocked super well by this Ornithopter here. Okay, I'm good with that. So now, if they Gleeful Demolition, then I can at least flash in Spectral Sailor and produce a 2-power counterspell for that. If they attack here, then I just get to... Aww, opponent, you didn't want to attack? Whatever, I'm still going to do it. Ooh, that's nice. Okay. So let's play the Mutavault. And we have a dilemma. I am going to walk into Rending Valley if they have it. If you got it, you got it. Is it there? Okay, that's a good start for me. I'm going to attack with everybody here. If they want to block this to... Oh no, they have it anyway? Oh, boo, your mother. All right, fine. Okay, so they don't want to walk into another Spectral Sailor, which I think is respectable. But now I've got access to, like, a blocking Mutavault here. I've got access to Get Lost, which is nice. Yeah, not really too many complaints about the way this hand is shaping up. If they have land Convoke creature, then that's fine too, I think. Not doing anything there. So I am actually just going to kill the Thopter. Yeah, I like that plan. Let's kill the Thopter. So that shuts off a decent amount of potential for a Convoke creature unless they have Resolute Reinforcements in hand. And this also potentially stops... Oh, never mind. I was going to say it potentially stops Demolition, but I just forgot I gave them 2 artifacts. So that's not a thing. So I am going to put this into play untapped so that at minimum I have access to Demolition. I'm sorry, Otawara. But now the Spell Queller's feeling pretty good too. This way, even if they do have an end of turn reinforcements, I can still Queller that. And it looks like we're just doing nothing. I am super in for this. There's an Epicure. I will do nothing about that. You got it. And I'm not going to put the Queller in play or do anything else here. I'm just going to untap. A Phantom. That is actively great. So that means I'm going to play the Otawara. So now that I've got the Supreme Phantom and Spell Queller mana, I can start attacking for 6 with these 2 guys here. That feels really nice. Rending Valley is going to get Spell Quellered. Absolutely not. Now you get to take 8 for your troubles. All right, and they are absolutely off it. So once again, Get Lost feeling pretty good, but also like this deck is very, very scary, but totally beatable if you just give yourself the room to beat him in combat. Like, blocking is a real thing, people. Anyway, 2-0, let's move on to the next round. Be sure to check out additional content from myself, Nikachu, the Commander Cookout, and others at themanabase.com. Okay, welcome to round 3. We're on the draw. No companion. I think Victor usually plays mono green, but I don't know if I'm right about that. Anyway, I'm keeping this hand. So let's see if I'm right about that or not. Otawara, I am definitely not right about that today. So I'm just going to go ahead and see Chrome Coast, hold up these Spell Pierce, and really just kind of see what happens. If this Otawara is like, you know, consider or opt, then we're playing against Phoenix and I'm a little sad. If it's something else, then we'll find out what that something else is. Oh no! Oh no, Nightmare territory! Ah, I do not want to fight this mirror on the draw. Okay. We are not playing against Phoenix. Upside, we have a Spell Pierce, so if they try to just like cast a CO, then at least that base is covered. But if he just goes like land Shacklegeist, I'm probably super fucked with this hand. Okay, so upside, at least there's no Curious Obsession coming down, and oh good, also no Shacklegeist. So we got away with that one at least. But here I get to just go Spirit, and I am going to use this as an opportunity to resolve my Supreme Phantom. So thank you, Cavern of Souls, because you might have just rescued me on the draw a little bit. Granted, we're nowhere near actually being out of the woods, right? But I can't say this is a bad start. Not a great start, but it's not bad either. Oh no, opponent! Opponent, no, not like this! Not like this! We have Cavern of Souls. Oh no! This is a thing that comes up so often in like old modern and legacy where you cast something off of Cavern of Souls and you would just catch an opponent casting a counterspell anyway, and oh, I am so sorry for this opponent. I'm pretty sure that they got to be like new to the deck because I swear I associate with this name with mono green, but that is still sad to see. Okay, so unfortunately for the opponent, this is now getting to be pretty decent territory for us. So I have honestly quite a bit of leeway here. So I'm going to go ahead and CO here. If they respond with a Spell Queller, I've got Geistlight Snare. If they respond with a 2-mana counterspell, I have Spell Pierce. Yeah, that's not happening, opponent. Apologies. So we're off to a pretty good start, not gonna lie. Yeah, because unfortunately our opponent made a really crucial mistake with that Lofty Denial, and I'm sure they're probably gonna miss that later. So yes and yield, I would love to draw a card. Ooh, and it's a Mutavault. That's actually pretty good. Okay, so now let's see if opponent happens to be playing something like Get Lost or a Skyclave Apparition in the main to get rid of the Supreme Phantom. If they can... Okay, that's not a bad start for them. I was going to say, if they can produce like a decent blocker or a removal spell, then that's going to end up being pretty good. If they can't, of course, bad times population them. And they have their own Mutavault. Not bad. What's this? Shacklegeist. Okay, I hate that for us. Untap. So here I am going to play this here Mutavault. And if they don't want me to draw, they're going to have to chump block with the Shacklegeist. So I'm still not sad about getting to attack here. All right, to the sideways zone you go. So we're going to get to draw our own Shacklegeist. Not bad. So I'm going to just go ahead and resolve my Mausoleum Wanderer, knowing that I have access to Spell Queller here. So if they decide to go ahead and do the thing where they animate Mutavault, tap down my Mausoleum Wanderer with Shacklegeist in Mutavault and try to attack with Spectral Sailor, I still have access to an uncounterable copy of Spell Queller unless they play a land. If they play a land first, then my Spell Queller can still be Spell Quellered by them. And if that ends up happening, then sure, I'll just have to let them draw one card and rely on the fact that I still have more cards than they do to kind of proceed the game. I also have copies of Get Lost that I can draw to kill the Shacklegeist, so that's also just a thing to know. But so far, can't really complain about our board state too far. I'm not going to take down the Spell Queller mana just in case they decide to actually cast a spell instead of tapping Iganjo for Mutavault and just like trying to double tap there. If they try to actually resolve a spell, I still want my uncounterable Spell Queller. So there's a Mausoleum Wanderer. I am gonna let that rock. An opponent has 2 cards in hand. Okay. So here I want to put in my Spell Queller and make them work for this. So obviously I'm not going to get the value of kidnapping a spell here, but if they have anything that's not an actual Spell Queller here, then I'm going to feel pretty good about this spot. If they do have a Spell Queller, then I can still Otawara it even after this. Yeah, that's fine. So their Spell Queller is going to kidnap mine, their Spectral Sailor is going to get to attack, but then I get to untap Otawara their Spell Queller so that my 2/3 is still well and alive and all that good stuff. I can also resolve Shacklegeist if I want to as well. I've got a lot of choices. Resolving Shacklegeist just might be the vibe. Whatever, we'll see what we draw after this draw step. If I draw a Supreme Phantom, then I'm super excited because then I'll get to attack with the Supreme Phantom through the Spell Queller without having to use Otawara. That part sounds like it kicks ass too. Okay, we drew a Rattle Chains. That's actually not even bad. So what do I want to do here? There's a lot of options. I can resolve my Shacklegeist now and know that I just have access to it. I can then tap down Mausoleum Wanderer and Shacklegeist itself to tap down Spell Queller, get my attack through. I can Otawara, Spell Queller, buy mine back, attack, and have a pretty competent blocker. Their Spell Queller is off the table at that point. If I resolve Shacklegeist and simply use Mutavault plus that to tap down, then I still have Mausoleum Wanderer to block, and then they're forced to use their 2 creatures to tap mine. I'm going to Otawara this Spell Queller, and I'm going to cast mine. And I'm not going to attack with the Mausoleum Wanderer. I am going to leave back both my blockers and just attack with the Supreme Phantom. A Mausoleum Wanderer is actually a really good draw. Nice. So now I've got 3 good blockers. That obviously changes quite a bit if they decide to just come at me with like a Supreme Phantom or something. But barring that, I feel pretty good about my position now. Okay, and now the CO fell off. Awesome. I love that for us. So I am going to, I guess, just move to combat. Oh, you know what I can do? I know what I can do. So I don't have a good way to play around their Spell Queller is the problem. But if they just tap down my Supreme Phantom, I don't want my CO to fall off, so I can still attack with the Mutavault as a 3/3 and not worry about too much else currently, I think. So let's allow them to tap down the Supreme Phantom. I don't want to put the Rattle Chains in hand because we know we just bounce a Queller, and I don't have a way to deal with the Queller right now. So instead of trying to resolve a spell in the face of a Spell Queller, instead, I think I'm just going to fire up my Mutavault, attack with a 3/3, know that they can't effectively single block my 3/3, and go from there. Oh, am I just going to be allowed to attack? No way. Didn't think so. Okay, that's fine. So still in the beginning of combat step here, I'm just going to fire up my friend Mutavault here. Sweet, they pack it up. All right, cool. So we've won game 1, and against the mirror, I want Portable Holes and my Catildas. Where are they? Here they are. I don't particularly care for Spell Pierce, and, excuse me, Geistlight Snare is also not fantastic, but I'll keep the 4th one. Okay, so in between games here, I actually just looked up my opponent's username on Google, and yeah, I was right. So this person usually does play mono green, so I had them associated with the right deck. It's just over the last week or two, they've actually switched off of that and have in both Standard and Pioneer been playing Azorius Soldiers and Azorius Spirits. So I was just like, wait a minute, I swear I had this opponent pegged for the right deck, and until last week I did, but I guess that's 2 good talking points while I'm waiting for them to finish sideboarding right. First, you know, Magic changes very, very, very quickly. Even though I'm playing the same deck as I am a million years now, it doesn't mean that we should expect our opponents to stay on the same deck forever. And the second point is, actually playing online, a good friend of mine, Brian Cook, just went ahead and did a podcast the other day about how Googling your opponent's usernames on Magic Online is not only a good resource to make use of, it's actually something you really should expect yourself to do. And it's called the Eternal Glory Podcast. So anybody who wants a lot more detail on that aspect of the game, I very, very much suggest checking that podcast out, because the 3 of the hosts there give really, really good information, whether you're a legacy player or not. And the resources that you get from just having extra information, like Googling your opponent's username, something super basic like that, is so valuable that I actually don't suggest not doing that in a match ever. Like, it's really, really good for you to be able to give yourself an edge up if you are playing online, because you really should expect your opponents to do the same. Supreme Phantom. Okay, I'm actually fine with that. We have a Catilda here. Okay. So rather than portable holding the Supreme Phantom now, I'm going to use this as an opportunity to resolve my Shacklegeist. I would much, much rather resolve my Shacklegeist than even think about this for an additional turn. Shacklegeist is usually the most important card in the mirror match by a mile. Like we saw last game where the Shacklegeist was kind of stressing me out because I didn't necessarily have the ability to attack through their defenses because they were able to tap down my Supreme Phantom. But now I'm the one with the Shacklegeist in play, and I obviously enjoy the ability to make sure my opponent doesn't get to do all of the nice things, and maybe I do get to do the nice things. Okay, so they're going to go ahead and resolve a Shacklegeist of their own. So to prevent them from just coming at me with a Curious Obsession here, I'm going to go ahead and tap that down. Let the Shacklegeist resolve, of course. And then next turn, I'm actually going to get the Portable Hold It, which is really nice. We have another Shacklegeist in hand. Okay, fine by me. So what do I want to start off with? I'm going to simply... Is there anything I need to play around? I don't think so, to be honest. I'm just going to resolve the Portable Hole now. And I'm going to play that before any of my creatures because I do want to play around Spell Pierce. So, hi, fuck off. And even though this is going to be bigger than my creatures, I still think it's a lot more important than worrying about the Supreme Phantom. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, resolve my other Shacklegeist, just in case they do have something nice and neat, like, say, a copy of Portable Hole themselves. Like, I think this plays around the most options they could have. Declaration in Stone. No, that's so good for them. Okay, that is definitely a something. So I'm gonna get 2 clues, but no Shacklegeists, which makes me a very, very sad Dre. Whoa, that makes me a lot less sad. Catilda, I think, is still a little bit better than resolving the CO right now, because I'll be able to untap with access to Rattle Chains. Right? Let's think about that. Yeah. I think resolving Catilda is a little better here. So if they have another declaration, whatever, so be it. But in the event that I have the Mausoleum Wanderer, resolve the Curious Obsession, attack and draw, then my opponent still just doesn't have to untap and attack or do anything with Supreme Phantom, because my Mausoleum Wanderer is still only going to be a 2/2. So this can just kind of like sit still and still block this even with a Curious on it, unless I do something else, and I don't want to have to do something else to beat this in an attack. Is this another declaration? Oh, okay, Shacklegeist. That is annoying, but it's not the complete end of the world. And if they don't... What's this? Spectral Sailor. Words are hard. Okay. This is actually fine. So I can CO here. If they try to tap it down, I have Rattle Chains. That's kind of perfect. All right, I'm in for that. And I think I want to do this before they have any like real options as far as untapping and doing anything super neat to it. Okay, so now that they've gone ahead and activated the Shacklegeist, I get to put in my Rattle Chains, protect the Catilda from having my turn negated here, and make my opponent's life suck for a turn. Yes, and yield. Don't mind if I draw the card. Please and thank you. And it's another Rattle Chains, which will be really nice next turn. So hopefully they just don't have a Skyclave or another declaration for my Catilda. If they don't, and I actually get to do Rattle Chains things, then I'm going to feel pretty good about that. A Spell Queller to block is not a bad option from them. Okay. Do they attack with the 3/3? No? Okay. Oh, that's good. That feels nice. I don't think I want to do anything with that, though. I'm just going to move to combat, make them tap all 4 creatures just to be able to attack or tap this through this, which means I should cast this here. Yes. So now we move to combat, and they have to tap 2 of their creatures to tap down to Catilda. I get to respond with Rattle Chains. Then they have to tap 2 more to tap down the same Catilda, and I get to just attack with Rattle Chains still. So that feels pretty good. And if the gods are super kind, my draw step could even be like a Portable Hole after that. Maybe that's asking for a lot, but, you know, I'm pretty greedy, so it is what it is. Okay. And now they've tapped all 4 of their creatures just to do that. So I guess I'll put the Rattle Chains trigger on itself. Doesn't really matter anymore. And I'm going to attack with my Rattle Chains. Bloop. So they gone on to 8. I get to draw a card. Dang it. Okay. I can hope, right? So, do I want to walk my friend Mausoleum Wanderer into a potential counterspell? No. I'm just going to resolve this. You know, just kind of get while the getting's good. So obviously we're pretty far ahead on the board. If they, again, I'm still pretty worried about things like another declaration or even a Skyclave apparition. If they declaration without a land, I can at least sack both my Wanderers to stop that from being a thing. If they have a Skyclave, I can't really do shit about that. But also of note, I do still have the 2 clue tokens, so if I draw another land, then I can start popping clues to draw cards as well, and that might even get me into the territory of something like a Get Lost or a Portable Hole to deal with their Shacklegeist. If I can deal with their Shacklegeist, then I feel pretty good about the rest of this game. They put the CO on a Spell Queller, okay. And I'm actually pretty okay with that because they can't tap down everything I have. I do not want them to draw a card, so I will just block here. Yes. I think that's my best block. What happens if I block with Rattle Chains instead? Obviously, I lose a 2/1. I keep the Wanderers. What value do the Wanderers give me by themselves? Not a whole lot. Don't get me wrong. It's not bad. But I don't think it's better than giving myself access to this. Okay, main phase Malcolm. I can dig that. Okay, so we drew the land that I mentioned. That's cool. But now remember, they can only tap down one of these because that's not a spirit. So I'm going to go ahead and see. Obviously, they tap this, but what do they tap it with? Okay, so once again, I'm going to go ahead and level up the Mutavault. They can go ahead and tap this down. And I'm going to attack with this and this. Do I bother attacking with Rattle Chains? No, because I do want them to continue to be stressed about my attackers. Yeah, I'm just going to attack with these. So if they want to trade these two for these two, I'm actually kind of chill with that. Like, this one's definitely fine. And they're going to take the 2 and go to 6. Okay, cool. So neither of my COs fall off. That's obviously great for me. And I still don't have a Shacklegeist of my own, so I'm not exactly the happiest about this Spell Queller getting to attack. But I also can't really do anything about it right now. So what do I want to do? I think I just take this and cry about it. So they're going to get to draw a card. And if they don't do anything, then I will pop one of these clues. Hopefully they don't have a Get Lost. Exactly. That would really suck. They didn't? Question mark? Oh no, they do? Oh, it's a Spell Queller. Okay. That's annoying as hell, but I can't do anything about it anyway, so it is what it is. Let's untap. Yep. I agree with that choice. Another Curious Obsession. Okay. So now opponent is stuck making even more choices about things. Oh, actually, is that even right? How the hell do I get out of this? I think I just have to pop the clue token first, actually. Let's see what I draw. Perfect. Yes. Okay. That is so good for me. Does that give me an out to win the game? If they tap this down with the Shacklegeist, I'm doing only 3 currently. Not fantastic, but also not the worst. Yeah, I'm gonna get lost now. Because if I do this now, then I get to see which thing they want to, they tap this and I can put the CO on here. Yeah. Mini dilemma. If I put the CO on the Wanderer and attack for 2, that takes them down to 4. I do still have a 6/6 Catilda. No, I'm going to put the CO on this. Let's rock. Alright, so they go down to 4. I get to draw a card. It's a Supreme Phantom. That is potentially really helpful next turn. Okay, and now they don't have a Shacklegeist, so I do get hit with the Spell Queller, and there's not much I can do about that. If they have exactly a Supreme Phantom, then I take 14, not 15. Okay, so I take that, I go down to 11, I cry about that, and assuming they still only have access to 3 mana here, then I get to cast my Supreme Phantom and have Spell Queller to back it up. So that feels pretty good. Hopefully they don't have just like another copy of, actually that's not bad for me either. So let's start by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm not going to play the land before doing all of this stuff because I don't want them to know that I have the ability to activate this. So let's start by doing this first. Does this resolve? Spectral Sailor. Okay, you got it. Does my Phantom resolve? Okay, so now I get to do this. Kidnapping their Spell Queller. I'll take that, and I'll resolve this. And they do have a 3/4, but I don't really think I care. I'm just going to click attack all in a second. And if they want to eat exactly Mutavault with Spell Queller, that's fine, because they're basically sacrificing everything else if they do so. So here's a big giant Hadouken of an attack. And since I'm gaining 11 life here, I really do not care about the crackback. Okay, they want to trade with the Rattle Chains. That's fine. They are going to simply eat that attack and go to 1. Okay, fine by me. And they pack it up. All right, cool. Let's go to the next round. Okay, we're in round 4? Sounds right? Yeah, 4. And we're on the play. Hell yeah, love that for us. With a decent hand against Gigantha. Okay, this is fine. So if I draw a land, then I get to make some pretty quick use of the Spell Queller. If I don't draw a land, then I at least get to go like Sailor, Supreme, and then like back up with Rattle Chains or something cool like that. We'll see. Den of the Bugbear. What are we doing with that? Epicure. So we're playing against Convoke. Okay. So that means I'll be pretty happy to... Dang it. I was going to say I'll be pretty happy to go ahead and resolve this Supreme Phantom right now. I could also guarantee cut them off of a Convoke turn right now by resolving Shacklegeist. I like that. So I'm not going to attack here. Instead, I'm just going to pass and see what they want to resolve. Okay. A Clarion Spirit. Understood. So I'm just going to do this so they can't attack with this Epicure here. Let them resolve the Clarion Spirit. And then hopefully draw a land for my Spell Queller. Yeah? No. Dang. I have options. We can attack with Shacklegeist with the intent to Rattle Chains tap again and prevent a Convoke turn. We can play Supreme Phantom and attack for a bunch. No, I think that's worse. So I'm just going to go ahead and attack with only Shacklegeist. This way, I have Spell Pierce up if they want to resolve a copy of Gleeful Demolition. And if Gleeful Demolition isn't what they're trying to do, I can still flash in Rattle Chains and tap Clarion Spirit. Actually, I should still do that. I'm just going to I should have just resolved this first then. Whoops. Well, now I feel like an idiot. I'm gonna put Rattle Chains into play. So oh yeah, that's a spirit. I could have given that Hexproof. Anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap their Clarion Spirit. And if they can't make a Convoke creature as a result of that, then we'll obviously feel pretty good. But even still, I would really love to... Okay, good. I would still love to see us resolving a Spell Queller with this next turn. Is this a demolition I was worried about before? No. Thraben Inspector so they can make a token. Oh, no, they can still just resolve something. Boo. Okay. Unfortunate since, you know, I still think this was actually the right decision by us. We just didn't draw the third land. So I can't really complain. Damn it. I can't really complain about that too much because I still think we made the right play. Just... we didn't have the resources to follow up on it. So here, what I'm going to do is literally just make them have the ability to kill me this turn because I'm doing 8 and they're at 16. So if they can't kill me from 19 right now, they are dead. So I should probably expand on that. They do, of course, have a spirit token here. If they can cast 2 spells this turn and make another spirit, then they can live. If they can't do exactly that, oh, and it's an Ornithopter. Never mind, not dead. Then we had the ability to do the Spectral Sailor, put things in play, and just really make them kind of work for really all of this. But as it stands, I'm kind of looking at a lot of damage here. This is sorcery only, right? The Warden? Yes, it is sorcery only. Okay. Oh, man, that third land would have been so good for us. Oh, they're putting counters on the Warden now? What is happening? They tapped the Warden to put a counter on itself. Okay, so I block 2, take 2, 4, 6, 8, go down to 11. Okay. Did I miss an attacker somewhere? Oh, I did. Duh. The Loxodon. I forgot about it because I knew I wasn't going to block it. That's on me. So they have no cards in hand. They have 1 card in hand. And there's no... Okay. A Spectral Sailor number 2. What does that do for me? I can produce 2 decent blockers, and that'll give me a total of 4 actual blockers. If I block this, and then 2, 3, 4, that still means 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 gets through. So I basically just have to hope they don't click attack all. That plant sucks. Okay, well, it is what it is. Like, there's no way they don't just click attack all here, but in the hilariously unlikely event they don't, I get to make 2 blockers. I am going to 6, though, which is definitely not good. Unfortunately, I think this means that we've lost. This third land is really, really fucking us up. That's unfortunate. Okay, so we cycle a blood, get rid of an Inspiring Vantage. Good for them. So, okay, play another land. Oh my god, yes. Please only attack with what you have highlighted, plus like maybe 2 more things. No! That's... Aw. So if I block again here... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I can block 4 of these things. Or I can block 5 of these things. Unfortunately, the math does not math for us. Oh well. Let's declare some blocks. Get ready to cry about it. Yeah, what am I doing? Alright, let's just go to the next game. Sheesh. Over here, like, actually fronting like there's some kind of way to possibly live, and there's just not. So, enough crying about that. Instead, let's go Portable Hole, Tilda and Settles, and Spell Pierce out, and Shacklegeists out, and 1 Curious out. So we'll do it just like we did last time, because as we saw last match, the plan is good, but of course hitting land drops is also kind of relevant to the plan. So we'll just try again. Okay, so here we'll get to be on the play, and let's hope that helps this time. Okay, we're not keeping the one lander. Go away. This is much better. I am super in for this. So they also mulligan to 6 cards, so also great for us. And yeah. Don't get me wrong, this hand is not like actually fantastic, but it does the exact things I need to do in order to really kind of compete, right? Like I get extra cards, I have a removal spell for a 4/4, and I get to do something about an early drop. Realistically, that's all I can ask for out of a hand. I suppose I can draw a 1-drop so that I can both Portable Hole and play the 1-drop. That'll be like near optimal, but if we don't get that, then I'll take this as well. Okay, so we jump right into a Thraben Inspector. Okay, unfortunate I don't have a 1-drop to play here, and let's just Supreme Phantom and hope that it doesn't catch the business end of a Rending Valley. Okay, so here I'm going to start with a CO here, and you know what? I'm actually going to play the other CO on here as well now, because we know that it gets out of Rending Valley range. So we'll attack for 3, draw my 2 in a second here, and I know I'm going to Portable Hole the Clarion Spirit, so that'll be a pretty good start. Hopefully this means I can... Oh, nice. So Portable Hole gets rid of Clarion Spirit. This makes life a lot harder for them if they want to try to resolve a Convoke creature now, and this hopefully gives me... No! Aw, I was using that, you jerk. All right. Okay, so I'm not really sad about this, though. Like, I can just Spell Queller almost anything here, and I actually will put a Naked Spell Queller in to try to just block this naturally. If I catch the business end again of a Rending Valley or even another Get Lost, then honestly, so be it. Reinforcements is fine. I eat this, I get my attack on. And do I want to cast a Get Lost on the reinforcements to play around a Convoke creature now? If they have a land as their draw step, then they can play a Convoke creature. If they don't have a land, then I feel dumb for not playing this. I'm going to play for Spell Quellering. Okay, if this catches a Rending Valley again, then so be it. But this is the route that I'm going to try to go with. Demolition. Damn. Okay. A Knight Errant. A Knight Errant is clearly super annoying, but it is still something that I can get lost and I can play a Mausoleum Wanderer. If I had played the Wanderer and I'll get lost on this instead, then yeah, sure, I do completely play around this. But I still think I'm okay with this. So let's go ahead and get ready to attack. So they take the 4 here, go down to 11. I play the Wanderer, and from here I can still Spell Queller something. Or if they just go to combat, then I can Spell Queller naked, make the Wanderer a 2/2, and then eat 2 of their attackers, untap, get lost on the Knight Errant, and still be pretty far ahead as far as actual combat goes. I have not forgotten that I have 2 map tokens too to potentially make these pretty large as well. A Forge Devil. That is obviously going to try to take my Mausoleum Wanderer down to just being dead. Is there a benefit to letting this resolve? No. So I was thinking that I could just let the Forge Devil resolve and put the trigger on the stack, and then Wanderer, make Wanderer 2/2, but just like have this in play, but there's no real reason to do that. So I'll just do it normally and not get cute. So again, hoping to fade that Rending Valley. I would love to not deal with that. And now the only real attack they have is with this, which I will definitely take if they just do that. Okay, that's actually not bad for them. Granted, yes, I have a Get Lost, but it doesn't mean that that was a bad play or a follow-up from them. Actually, this is pretty good for us if that's like their plan, right? Because now they tap their Frings, they don't get to attack, they do get to attack with this, but whatever, that's only 4, and I'm currently looking at 7 damage minimum. If they spend another turn next turn tapping these to activate the Warden, then I have my Get Lost, so that feels pretty good if that ends up being the case. The only downside to this is that, of course, if I end up winning this game, then we're still stuck with a game 3 on the draw. So that's pretty freaking obnoxious. Okay, so we take 4, we go to 15, cry about it, and untap. Into an island. don't particularly want an island. So I'm going to go ahead and activate a map token targeting, I don't know, you to prevent another Forge Devil, I guess. And it plays around a Gleeful Demolition. What is that, Rattle Chains? I don't really want Rattle Chains, so yes, Graveyard? Yeah, Graveyard. This one can go here. No? No. Actually, yes. Yes, I want this one large. So in the event that I do get Rending Valleyed, exploring one of these only once doesn't do anything about Rending Valley. And I want my bigger thing. Oh, Get Lost. I am not putting that into the graveyard. Attack for 3, 4, 5. Yeah, attack for 5. So they go to 6. I still have blockers and a Get Lost with this Warden or Knight Errant's name all over it. Okay, so what is a worst case scenario? I think a worst case scenario looks like land plus Recruiter, Gleeful Demolition on my portable hole. No thank you. I don't think I want you to have a Deafening Clarion or a Clarion Spirit. Wait a minute, do I care about Clarion Spirit? It does technically make flyers. It does make a flyer if they have another spell. And then they can start tapping things. This makes 2 flyers. Do I care if they have 2 flyers and something other than a Rending Valley? If they have 2 flyers and something other than a Rending Valley, then I still just click Attack All on my next turn. And if I click Attack All, they block one thing that's a source of 3 power. They end up still taking 7, but if they follow up with an Ornithopter as well, then I can lose. So yeah, I'm not going to give them the Clarion Spirit back. Pay 2. Okay, so they have the land. Epicure takes me down to 14. It makes an artifact. I don't really care about that. I think we're in the clear. Okay, so they are doing this thing. I'm okay with that. Mostly. So they can tap these to make it a 5/6. We tell it to get lost in a second here. I think I just signaled that that we have it though. They put whatever that was on the bottom. They filter out the blood. I will respawn now. And the reason I didn't respawn before with that is because they have a mana up and it was specifically a white mana. I very, very highly doubt they have Surge of Salvation against me. But just in case, I think it was worth playing around. So here I'm going to just go ahead and re-click submit because I like our plan. And hopefully it just works again, right? Okay, so we're in game 3. I'm on the draw. And this hand is honestly about as good as can probably be asked for. Like, don't get me wrong, like I don't have a portable hole, for example, or something to directly deal with a turn 2 Convoke thing, but as far as interactive hands go, this is definitely one of them. Like, I have a turn 3 Queller, a turn 4 Settled Wreckage provided I draw a land. I already have the 2 white lands required to cast Settle should I draw the 4th land. So like, can't really ask for too much more than that. So I'm going to go ahead and cast the Wanderer first. What this does is it allows me to, in combat, cast Spectral Sailor next turn, make this a 2/2 and potentially eat something in combat. It also stops them from, like, I don't know, Thraben Inspector, Red Source, Gleeful Demolition. Clarion Spirit is super annoying, but I can't really do much about that. Oh, come on. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a known quantity. We know this deck has this, but it doesn't mean I can't complain about it. Alright, so I'll just eat my 2 damage here. So what in the hell do I do about Land Recruiter? I think the legitimate answer is close to nothing. Like, I'm just pretty dead to that, right? Like, I'm pretty sure I'm just, like, ultra dead to that if that ends up being the case. So I think what I'm supposed to do here is pay the 2 life, ignore the Rattle Chains, play Mausoleum Wanderer, sit back on defense for another turn, and give myself the opportunity to Spectral Sailor into a palatable defense of some form. Next turn I can play the Queller, hope that that helps me fight back, and then from there just IDFK try. So what do I do about, say, Ornithopter plus Recruiter? No, I still kind of cry about that, right? Yeah. Maybe I end up getting out of this turn with a half-decent life total. That'd be nice. Epicure sucks. Can't do much about that. You got it. So at least there's no Gleeful on top of everything else. But they can make another Spirit if they just, like, cast something here. So I assume they have to have a Convoke creature here, right? No? No Convoke creature? Okay. I mean, I suppose that works for me as well. If they make another game object, they can tap 3 of those to make this a 4/5, and then it'll have the flying and vigilance, which is obnoxious. Okay, okay, I'm actually mostly okay with that. So I'm not going to cast a Spectral here, since they just spent their turn doing that. Oh, that's good for me. Instead, I'm just going to play the Spell Queller. I'm sorry, I'm going to play the land, knowing that I have access to Spectral Sailor plus Rattle Chains to make my Mausoleum Wanderers 3/3s if they try to attack here. That'll keep my life total nice and high for a potential Settle the Wreckage turn. And then once the Settle Wreckage resolves and they have like 1 or hopefully even 0 cards in hand, then we're going to feel really good about the state of the game. But if they just cast like a Recruiter or something, I'll also be pretty happy to just Spell Queller it. So they can make this thing, what, a 6/7? Well, that sucks. Demolition on this token. I think I'm still supposed to Spell Queller this because I don't want them making 3 more game objects for this. Yeah, that feels right. So I'm still not ultra happy about this Warden being like 100/100. But even that doesn't leave me completely bereft of outs, right? Like, if this last card is a Recruiter, then whatever, dude, you got me. But like, if they did like Gleeful Land Recruiter, just kind of shake me here. Fuck. You know what? Not even mad. I just got. That's okay. So my job here is what? Live? I can definitely live. If I draw land, then I still have Settle, and remember that whole thing about them not having cards. They currently don't have cards. There is a real life, somewhat palatable out to their attack step here. Okay, 7/7. If I don't draw a land for the Settle, I can at least draw a Portable Hole. That's not the worst. It's not good, but it's not the worst. So I'll eat the Recruiter, take 7, go to 8. A CO is not what I wanted there. That is actively dog shit for me, if I'm being completely honest. I think I just have to do this. Oh no, it's got Vigilance. Oh no, crap. Oh, I suck. Okay, I'm just dead. That was bad. Oh, I forgot about the Vigilance. Okay, whoops. That's what I get. Okay, I just needed to draw something else, I guess. Whatever, I'm just gonna have to let the seal fall off because I can't not hold it up as a blocker. Dang it. And I just cut myself off of a second blocker too, because now I can't cast both Spectral Sailor and Rattle Chains. Oh, that feels so bad. Yeah, that felt terrible. But if they don't have like another Convoke card here, and I draw like a Portable Hole or a Get Lost or something to deal with this, then we're still actually okay. You know, never mind okay. I might actually be winning if that happens. But that does not make my decision a good one. Like, that was actively... Oh, it had to be a Loxodon too. Oh, gross. Okay. Right, buying Jegantha. You got it. So that feels super Omega bad. Okay. Let's block that. Not die. Let's Rattle Chains. And... No, deck. Come on, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I fucked up. That doesn't mean I can't ask for my deck to help too. So what can I do here? Is there any out with 4 blockers? Probably not. Shaking Jegantha to draw a card. Okay. If they draw a land, I'm also just dead on the spot because of Sheffet Dunes. Yikes. I mean, I guess if they draw a basic mountain. Oh, Epic here. Okay. Oh, no. I'm actually okay with the fact that I just went like, oh, another Warden. There's like no universe in which I'm beating this, right? Because now they get to make a second set of super huge, and that also helps them play even better around Settle if I draw a land to cast it, which I still haven't done. So what can I reasonably draw to even think about getting out of this? I can put in Spectral Sailor Supreme Phantom, block some stuff, keep the Phantom around. I don't think I have a really reasonable way to keep Rattle Chains around, but if I did, that gives me an out to being able to draw a Catilda and flash it in for a huge life-linking block. That is technically another option, but realistically, this Warden is kicking my teeth in. I just haven't drawn like a land or a Portable Hole or a Get Lost to do anything about it. Oh, you know what's gonna happen? I'm gonna take a bunch of damage, and my draw step is gonna be a fucking Hallowed Fountain. What's gonna happen here? And I'm gonna be super duper sad about it. I'm gonna die so dead. Not even kind of dead. I'm gonna die super dead. Okay, so they are stacking on the original Warden? Yes, they're stacking on the original Warden. So let's see if they just click attack all or what. We are just clicking attack all. we're not attacking with this. Okay. So what can I do? Spectral Sailor first. Supreme Phantom with Flash. I now have a 3/3 here. Smallest blocker goes here because I already can't do much about that. I only take 4 if I eat it like this and go to 3, which probably means what happens here? I take 6 and go to 1. I take this, go to 3. I guess this does technically allow me to draw Hallowed Fountain and play it. All right, I guess this is what we're doing. And what happens here? Do we draw land? Do we get to... Thanks, deck. All right, time to pack it up. See y'all in the next round. All right, welcome to round 5, coming fresh off of a fat L, and we are on the draw with a 5-lander. Awesome. Okay, much better. So here I'm just going to get rid of a Darker Waste. Yeah. Keep this, get rid of a Darker Waste. And while I'm not super happy with this, I'm at least relatively happy. Oh no, are we doing this again? We are potentially not doing this again. Okay. I mean, I feel like I'm lying about that, but, you know, let me live. Are we on Clarion Spirit time? Resolute Reinforcements main phase. Okay. So we're doing this for the 3rd time in 5 so we're doing this for the 3rd time in 5 rounds. Lovely. So maybe we can draw a Geistlight Snare here. That'd be kind of cool. No? Okay. I'm going to just develop the Mausoleum Wanderer then. So that at least plays around no land thing plus Gleeful. Never mind the no land part. There's an Ornithopter. And here's a Convoke creature that we could not draw the Geistlight to deal with. Nice. Okay. Sucks to suck us. So they have a Loxodon. At least it's not the Knight Errant. That is better than just dealing with the Loxodon. So I can attack first, see what I draw. Yeah, let's just do that and go from there. I'm not going to try to get cute with the Supreme Phantom or anything like that. Cavern of Souls. I guess it's fine-ish, right? Like I can Spectral Sailor, block plus get lost, untap, play land, Rattle Chains, and Supreme. That doesn't suck. All right. Yeah, I feel like as far as plans go, that's not the worst one I've ever had. Giant Killer, just casting Giant Killer. Okay. Do we have another Convoke creature? A Recruiter. That is not a Convoke creature. That is a card that I really just don't want to see and don't have a Queller to do anything about. Okay. Attack with Giant Killer? They did. Sick. So now I get to eat the Giant Killer. Spectral Sailor first. And then Rattle Chains now. And I'm going to cast Rattle Chains rather than Get Lost because I do want to make my Mausoleum Wanderer a 3/3 to specifically deal with this. So I'm going to do this and take what? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, go to 7? Yeah, let's just do that. We draw a Shacklegeist. Not fantastic. Okay, so here I'm just going to go ahead and attack with my Spectral Sailor. Once again, seeing what my draw step looks like here before I start getting cute. A Seachrome Coast. Okay. Seachrome Coast does not help me cast stuff, so here I'm just going to resolve my Shacklegeist and... No, that's wrong. I'm just going to resolve the Supreme Phantom here, not worry about the Shacklegeist, and instead give myself access to get lost on the Loxodon thing. I feel like this is a lot better. So now I can have... Yeah, I got pretty good blocks on most stuff here. So if it's not... What? Epicure plus Recruiter sucks. I think most other draws are fine. Yeah, I legit think most other draws are fine here. So they are going to attack with just that. Okay. Well, y'all know the phrase, get lost. And they have Demolition on that. I can't counter it with my Wanderer, so I'm not going to try. Let's see if this last card is another Convoke thing. Ah, fuck. It is. Okay. That's annoying. So they do have Loxodon again. And Explore on this. Opponent, I would love it if you knew how obnoxious you were all in one go. So how do I get out of this now? That is a good way to get out of this. Okay, so instead of having to Shacklegeist, I can now just do this and threaten to bully the Ornithopter. So don't get me wrong, still not in the clear by any stretch of the imagination, but it is better than just curling up and dying. So I get to draw 2 here, and a second Shacklegeist. Okay, I can get behind that for now. It's not actually good, but it is not nothing either. So how many real blockers do I have? Just 3? So I can block 1, 2, 3, still take 6, and this is blocked here. So in theory, if they click attack all, I go to 1, untap, and kill them. Right? 1, 2, 3, blockers on not Ornithopter. Block 1, block 2, block 3, take 6, go to 1. Yeah. Not pretty, but it is technically what we have access to. So we gotta block this. Gotta block this. Yeah, I don't really get a say-so in the matter, and I gotta sack my Supreme Phantom to this block as well. That sucks. Right? 2, 4, 6. Oh, and the Shacklegeist is gonna die too. God, this is not great. All right, we're at 1. Let's, I don't know what we're gonna try, but we're gonna try it. Oh, damn it, it was an Epicure. All right, fine. Fine. So once again, we're gonna Portable Hole, we're gonna Catilda, we're gonna Settle, and we are not going to get stuck on lands. That is the goal here. I want the Pierces, I do not want the Shacklegeists, and we're taking out 1 CO yet again. Okay, so we are on the play this time, and our hand... Okay, so we have, once again, the 3-lander and a Settle. Everybody cross your fingers and pray. Hell Fountain tapped, and let's see just how bad this can get. Okay, so there's an Epicure, so they do have an artifact for Gleeful if they have one in hand. A Geistlight Snare is unfortunately not super helpful until next turn, so if we're lucky, I don't know, maybe next turn is just like another setup turn. But if we get out of this turn without them having a Convoke creature, and without them having just like, I don't know, straight up 5 things on board, then we do have access to Spell Queller and or Geistlight Snare. Warden is not great for us, but we, once again, do have Portable Holes if we can manage to find one that does help deal with this. Mausoleum Wanderers to draw. Is that helpful? Yes. So what I can do here is just kind of let Supreme Phantom chill, right? That's going to be on defense duty. Worst case scenario, I can still like Rattle Chains plus Mausoleum Wanderer. If I Geistlight without being able to cast this, then I don't know, so be it. I would rather deal with the mana inefficiency than, oh, I totally get got here if I Spell Queller this and they like Gleeful here or have a land. I still think I need to do this though. Because if I do this, then they only have 3 other game objects to tap for this. If I let this resolve, they have a total of 6 and they can make this a 4/5 now. If this is a 4/5, then I don't get to really play the game until I find a Portable Hole or something to deal with that. So I think I have to risk it. If I'm keeping it real, doesn't feel great. But at least if this is not like, I don't know, like a Rending Valley or something, then I can at least try to feel good about the way this proceeds. But if that's a Rending Valley, then I'm just super fucked anyway, and there was never anything I could do about it. Come on. Oh, that's surprising. I wonder why they didn't tap these and make this Vigilant and Flying and... Oh, haha. All right, well, we still didn't draw the land that we absolutely needed to draw to help protect our thing from nice stuff, but at least we got to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and pass here, knowing that I have Geistlight Snare / Rattle Chains. But man, we are still not really doing too much yet. Vantage, okay. Epicure... Not going to do anything about Epicure. You got it. I'm at 13. That's important. And there's the Loxodon. Okay, so that's going to catch the business end of my Geistlight Snare here. And we live to fight another day. So is it the part where we find out whatever this last card is? It is not. And now I have a 4th land. So instead of letting them know that I have a Settle the Wreckage here, I think I'm supposed to just play the Wanderer for this 1 turn, dodge. Since I'm at 13, I can produce 3 blockers, and then after I've played my creatures and set them in defense to like basically play like I'm on ultra defense hard mode here, then I can just settle after having cast this turn. I feel okay about that line. That also plays a little better around them having another Convoke creature right now. So they draw a card. Is it a Convoke creature? Please say no. Land untapped. Okay, so now I'm just going to play the Rattle Chains here. If it's a Rending Valley in hand, it's a Rending Valley in hand. I don't know, I'm just going to give itself the trigger. But since they're at 13, this actually gives me a little leeway to start attacking myself if I'm allowed to untap with creatures. Seachrome Coast is not good. I will just attack for 3 and take you down to 10? Yes. If I attack like this, then that tells them that they're allowed to play the Recruiter if they draw one. If they play a Recruiter and attack all, then I get to settle. So I am going to play my Sad Face Seachrome Coast and pass. Reinforcements, not great for us. Can't do much about it. And there's the Recruiter. Okay, so if they click attack all on the Recruiter, then we've probably just won. But let's see if that's what happens. Oh, thank God, we got to do to settle. Okay, so we're gonna do this and this, but then do this. Do not have Surge of Salvation. If they do, I can still pop Mausoleum Wanderer to counter the Surge. Okay, we drew a Get Lost, so now I actually just get to be really happy and get to do the attack. So, whew, let me tell you, the way this deck makes people sweat. Alright, so hopefully we just go to 4 with little to no issues here. Alright, good. Good start. Alright, let's go to game 3. So, unfortunately, we are on the draw for this game 3. This is definitely possible, as we just saw, especially now, and what was it, round 2, I think that we did this before, but being on the draw for a game 3 is always super nerve-wracking. This is slightly reasonable. I don't think it's truly reasonable, but we do have a Phantom, a Thing to Do, a Lifelinker, and a Get Lost, so even though this is on the slower end of interactive hands, it is still... Oh, never mind, this is fine. I was gonna say, this is still an interactive hand, and I actively love that draw step. So Warden is, like, as we saw earlier, like, by far their most threatening individual card. So knowing that we have a little leeway to not have to deal with it as much is pretty nice. Oh, shit. All right. Won't lie and say I saw that coming. Well, I'm just gonna cast my Supreme Phantom. So if this is, I don't know, like, Portable Hole or something, or what would cause them to put a land into play tapped on turn 2 on purpose? Recruiter naked? That's fine. I don't really give a shit about that. I'll go to 15. So here I get to just CO holding up Rattle Chains, and provided I draw a land on the next turn, I get to Geistlight Snare to protect Catilda as well? Okay. Can't lie and say I'm going to complain about that. Oh man, please get away with one. I think it's a little too early in the tournament to use our one time, but, you know, that's the vibes. We really just want this to, like, be a thing that we fade one time. Okay, a 4th land. Forge Devil is kind of whatever. Don't particularly give a shit about that. Obviously, it's a Convoke creature, so it will still let them do the thing, but I don't know how much I care about them doing the thing right now. Yeah, like, I actually just think I let them have the Loxodon, and instead put my Rattle Chains into play, untap, and give myself the option to... Oh, that's good too. But I was going to say, give myself the option to potentially draw a land to protect Catilda with Geistlight Snare. I think that's a better plan. So I'm going to attack with just this. Damn. Well, fake damn. That's still really good. I'm not going to cast a Catilda into Rending Valley range, because it'll only be a 4/4 if I put it... I'm sorry, it'll be a 5/5. Never mind. I have Supreme Phantom. Alright, that's not bad. But I still think I'd rather, like, cast Get Lost and hold up a Geistlight Snare. Yeah, so I think I'd rather do that. Whatever, we'll see what happens. So they're attacking with just those two and not this? Weird. Alright. I'm gonna block with Rattle Chains, and I'm just gonna take 4 and go to 10 then. If they cast another Convoke creature, I will once again simply let it resolve and put in Catilda. Like, if I get out of this turn... Ah, shit. There's a Rending Valley in hand, isn't there? Fuck. Fine. I'll play around a stupid Rending Valley. Another Supreme Phantom's not that bad. It's not that great, but it's not that bad either. So let's attack here. Okay, we drew a 4th land. Non-sarcastic hooray. They also only have 1 card in hand, so that actually is kind of a big deal. So what I can do now is play around Rending Valley almost completely. What I can do is, if they attack with both of these, I can put Mutavault up, Mutavault to 3/3. If they just Chef at Dunes here, then I'm okay to cast a Settle here. I really do not mind. That's okay. Alright, so now I get to settle them again, and if they Rending Valley this, then honestly, so be it. I don't care, I've got a bunch of cards in hand. Oh my god, it wasn't even a settle. Nice, let's rock. So now they go to 11, I get to draw a card, and it's a Spell Queller. I'm not casting anything, we're just gonna pass. So now I've got a Spell Queller and a Geistlight Snare, so I am pretty much done worrying about shit? Hell yeah. Alright, So far, 2-1 total matches over Convoke, but man, is this deck popular. Anyway, let's move to the next round. Okay, welcome to round whatever the number this is, and we are playing against Karuga, which means I'm probably looking at the Quintorius combo deck. So against that deck, even on the draw, I am going to keep this relatively slower hand, and what that deck wants to do is resolve the new Planeswalker Quintorius Kant, and from there, it does a whole bunch of, whoa, okay, I don't know that I've seen that card in this deck. What is this thing? There's no way that's all this card does. This has to be like a split card, right? Yeah. Reason to believe. So scry 3, look at the top card, put it in the battlefield if it's a creature. Oh, okay, sure. I've actually never seen that card in this deck. But if they resolve a Quintorius, then they get to use the Quintorius to just basically chain a bunch of effects that clone itself, a lot like Gyruda does, except you cast all of those copies of things. So it effectively works just like a Gyruda combo, except it drains 2 and gains 2 whenever you actually go to do the thing. So here, I'm going to see if I can fade a Brazen Borrower or some other similar removal spell. Looks like I cannot. That sucks. Okay, sucks to be me. And they do hit their third land drop. Can I do the same? I cannot. Unfortunate. So we're just going to try to resolve the Supreme Phantom again. And we do have a Spell Pierce, which actually is really good on their combo turn. Oh no, their combo turn is now. I'm just dead. Damn it. We're probably dead. So they find a Glasspool Mimic. That does not actually get to do the thing though, because it wasn't cast. Wait, what? Oh, discover casts. Duh. Okay, so this is colossally terrible, but they technically can miss. Very technically. What am I doing? Alright, let's just keep it going. Oh, one drop there would have been so good. Anyway, here's some invasions. And instead of those, I don't particularly want Shacklegeists. No, I do want Rattlechains. I don't want Shacklegeist. But honestly, even though that went relatively poorly, this is still a pretty decent matchup, provided that I actually get to, like, do the thing. Like, we've got Spell Piercers for their big, nasty combo turns that are things like the Eldritch Evolution spells and whatnot. We've got copies of Get Lost so that they can't clone cards. We've got Spell Queller so that we can actually get rid of their 4/3, even if they have Cavern of Souls. The invasions make life just a little more difficult for them, which is of course great for us. And Rattlechains to help stop stuff like the Colossal Sky Turtle we saw, Touch the Spirit Realm, really whatever brand of nonsense they can come up with. So even though that game went pretty poorly, that required a lot to go wrong, right? Can't be too mad about that. This hand is sketchy as shit, but I am gonna try it. So normally I wouldn't want to keep a one-lander here, but I do have Wanderer, Curious Geistlight with Rattlechains. Shacklegeist is not good here, but you know, another creature just is nice. So I'm hoping to have a lot of ability to just play the game. So the Xander's Lounge is also not bad for them. We get to attack. Let's see if we can hit a land. Yes, and yield. Oh, right. Yes, it is a land. And it's a land that has Geistlight Snare. Okay, so we untap, and now we have access to the Rattlechains, and I'm going to play the land pre-combat, just because if shit gets super real, I do want to give myself the ability to Rattlechains plus Geistlight. Looks like that's not going to be necessary here. I love that for us. And I actually will not cast Invasion this turn. Yeah, I'm going to give myself a chance to hit another land drop before casting Invasion. Because if I cast Invasion and they do something that's not a spell, like say the Colossal Sky Turtle, then I don't get to interact with it like this, and then I don't have Geistlight Snare up for this turn either. And I just don't really like that scenario for us. That seems really bad for just me. So here I'm just going to cast my Spectral Sailor, again keeping up my interaction. And now we do the untap. Land? Thank you. So here I am going to go ahead and cast the Invasion. See what they're working with. They're looking to deal damage to my friend. Okay. I would like to not have that happen. They pack it up. All right, let's go to game 3. So we're going to just resubmit. Once again, the plan is good, even if it didn't work out in game 1. Ooh. Well, even if the plan is good, this hand is not. This shit is going right back. Goodbye. And, this is fine. It's not great, but it's fine. So I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to put back one of the rattle chains? Or do I want to put back this pathway? Actually, no, what am I doing? I'm going to put back the Otawara. Ooh, real thinking scenario. No, I actually think I'm going to put back... I'm going to put back the Otawara. So, logic train here is that they are a deck that has Karuga, so I have to assume there's Mystical Dispute in the deck. Being that that should be the case, I want Cavern of Souls to protect my creatures and let them resolve. Otawara can also actually be a spell if there's some random shuffle effect later that I need to think about. And if I ever draw like a Seachrome Coast or something like that, I want you to be blue. Yeah. I'm going to just do this and resolve the Wanderer without showing them that I have access to a Cavern of Souls before they have Mystical Dispute up. And doing it like this means that I am probably waiting until turn 3 to actually do anything with my Curious Obsession here, but I think that's okay. And I'm going to keep up Geistlight Snare because I do need to be able to do something about Magma Opus into 4-drop. So this is not pretty by any stretch of the imagination. I could just die here. There's the Magma Opus. Time to cry. Do not have Cavern plus creature, please. Okay, and okay. So I will cast the Rattle Chains. And, I don't know, it's target itself, I guess. And we untap into a land. That is almost ideal. So here I will CO onto the Rattle Chains because I do want to use this as a protection spell. If it happens, great. If not, that's not necessarily fine, but it happens. I acknowledge that, I guess, is I guess the best way of putting it. So let's go ahead, draw our card, see if it's a land. It's not, but a Rattle Chains is not terrible. Another, Creative Outburst this time. Okay. So now they have a bunch of mana to work with, and if they find, 2 more mana sources, they can technically dodge one of these. Oh, this plays around Mystical Dispute. Got it. Okay, so if I Geistlight Snare here, they can use one of these to Mystical Dispute, and I don't get to really do anything about that fact. Okay, got it. I see what's happening here. Not happy about it, but it is what it is. Oh, sweet. Shoo. Spell Pierce, that's... okay. Let's attack. Draw me, I don't know, a Spell Queller? That'd be nice. Another Rattle Chains. Not what I need here. So, in some alternate universe, this Spell Pierce can stop an Eldritch Evolution line. That, I think, is my out here. If I can... that's actually a pretty good start for me. Because now I get to just Rattle Chains and protect from that. So that at least is a half-decent start. Let's see if they have another response. Counter target activated or triggered ability. Okay, so I get the Spell Pierce that, and after they pay the 2, then I can Mausoleum Wanderer to get rid of this. There, so now counter that unless you pay 1, and leave my friend alone, and there's a Spell Queller. Okay, so we can't really deal 9 even with the Supreme Phantom, but I can deal 5, draw another card, and hopefully Spell Quell something relevant. Mausoleum Wanderer is also actually not a bad draw, remembering that it's instant speed. Woo! Well, as we saw, this deck is pretty scary in game 1, but, well, we collect another W. Let's go on to, next to last round of Swiss? Last round of Swiss? Whatever, we'll find out soon. Alright, welcome to round 7 of 8. I actually know what round it is this time, and we are on the play against no companion and absolutely not keeping this hand. Holy shit, that was bad. This one's a lot better. So I'm going to put back the Shacklegeist out of this hand. Yeah, so if I put back the Shacklegeist from this hand, then I actually do have a completely instant speed hand that gives me Spell Queller or Spell Pierce. I'm sorry, Spectral Sailor or Spell Pierce early. Get Lost if I need to interact on turn 2. If I don't, then I still have Spell Pierce or Spectral Sailor, whichever of the 2 I don't use. And turn 3 is a potential Spell Queller, and I kind of like that as a curve. So we're going to keep this, put you away, and see if we're not playing against, I don't know, say, like Mono Green or something, where the Spell Pierce isn't that great. But looking at the opponent's username, they've been switching back and forth between, like, Fires of Invention, I really hope that's what they're playing, or Rakdos Midrange, and I obviously hope, damn it, I was going to say, and I obviously hope that's not what they're playing. So I'm going to go ahead and cast our friend Spectral Sailor here. I'm not going to bother with the Spell Pierce in this case. And let's see if they want to take Spell Queller, Get Lost, or Spell Pierce. They are taking the Spell Queller. So now if we manage to draw a Curious Obsession, the Spell Pierce will protect that. And unfortunately, that's not what happens, but let's get an attack in. And unfortunately, mulliganing against Rakdos Midrange is miserable. So let's see what, if anything else happens here. And it looks like they're just going to hold up a removal. So that's actually not a bad draw. So let's go ahead and get an attack on. Okay, we just go ahead and take that. And with the Geistlight Snare, I feel relatively well insulated against most possible things here. They also didn't bother trying to cast a removal spell there either, which is relatively nice for us. Is this just like a Kiki Jiki or what? Another Thoughtseize. I am actually going to ask my opponent to mind their business. So I could have simply let them resolve the Thoughtseize and take the 2 damage there, but I know that we have the Spell Pierce, and since this is only their turn 3, they can't like Bone Crusher Giant Stomp this really effectively or anything, and I still want Get Lost for something like a Shieldred. I would rather have a Get Lost for that than a Counterspell, or at least I think I would. Alright, so let's see what we draw here. Another Get Lost. Okay, for now I can actually deal with that. I would still like to see like 1 or 2 more creatures though, that'd be great. And are we casting something or do we just untap? Okay, looks like we just untap. You are a Trespasser. Unfortunate. So obviously I don't want the Trespasser to be the one that they have because I've got to discard if I actually want to use my Get Lost, which sucks. So I guess I'll just untap. A Shacklegeist. That's actually fine by me here because I don't really care too much about the Shacklegeist. It is nice to develop a threat, but Shacklegeist isn't exactly the card I really care about. So let's do this. If they Fatal Push, I guess I will Spell Pierce to protect. I feel like this is mostly fine. If they have what? Exactly land Kiki Jiki to play around my Spell Pierce, then that kind of sucks. Okay, no removal spell. So that part's nice so far. And if they just like resolve a Shieldred here, I'll be relatively happy to just untap into a Get Lost. That'll be nice. So they're gonna stop that and I can't do much about it, so oh well. And this will get to trigger and hit my Shacklegeist, so that's obnoxious, but again it is what it is. So I take 3, go to 15, and then see if they want to do anything else before we untap. And it looks like no, so let's untap. A land. I actually kind of do want that. So the land does a couple of things. Obviously, it helps me like draw a card with the Spectral Sailor. I enjoy that. It helps me cast double Get Lost if need be. I also enjoy that. And if we're getting to the point of a game where like this Spell Pierce is just like completely outliving its usefulness, then I'll also be relatively glad to just like, actually I think that's now. Okay, so that's fine. I don't really care if you get rid of the non-creature spells, that's whatever. So I'll discard the Spell Pierce, try and get rid of this Graveyard Glutton. More importantly, not take 4. Opponent, you are certainly free to get rid of cards in your graveyard. And a thing that I didn't mention yet. So they did have the Fable. I think even if I kill this, they still get the 2/2, right? Like, I don't think I can stop them from getting a 2/2. Yeah, that's not how that works. The trigger's already on the stack. Okay. I think I still get rid of this and give myself a chance to draw a counterspell rather than letting them have 3 turns of value out of this. This doesn't feel great. So if they want, they can make this Explore or Fatal Push this now that it's... Okay, so they will Explore. Thoughtseize is probably going right to the graveyard. And now we untap and draw what? A Rattlechains. That's actually not that bad. So don't get me wrong, they're still getting plenty of value out of their cards. So I'm still relatively unhappy with the way that, you know, the mulligan into the other part proceeded, but we could have also played a little bit differently earlier too. So like we did have the ability to Spell Pierce the Thoughtseize, keep Spell Queller in hand, potentially Spell Queller the 3/3, and then at least try an alternate win con from there. Well, that sucks. And let's give ourselves another draw step. If we draw another Get Lost, we only have 1 more. Then we might be okay-ish. Nah, I think I'm going to pack this up. Let's just move to game 2. Yeah, I don't really know that I'm super happy with the way that Spell Pierce turn proceeded. Like, we could have Spell Pierced the Thoughtseize, and that would have created an entirely different set of circumstances. Yeah, can't lie and say I'm super happy about that. So I'm going to take out the COs, Shacklegeists, and put in all of this nice, fun, interactive stuff. And this time, unlike the Spell Queller, we are very, very proactively going to be trying to protect our wedding announcements and stuff with Spell Pierces. And goes for Invasion of Gobakons, because either of those cards can just kind of win this matchup by themselves if they're really allowed to just do their thing. Okay, so let's be on the play. And what's our hand look like? We've got 3 lands, 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop. So, seems okay to me. And I'm going to put you on blue. Nah, I'll just play the Cavern. So that does tell them that I don't have a Spell Pierce right now, but I think I'm okay with that in the name of optimizing my land drops for later. Okay, so here's a Spectral Sailor. If they want to use a removal spell on this, they can. If not, then I get to hold up Rattle Chains. And it looks like they are, in fact, in a Fatal Push this. I'm okay with that. Oh, nice. All right, so I actively am going to do that now. All right, give me the loot. Harvester, Fatal Push, Fatal Push. Fine by me. So I'll take the Harvester, make it cost 4, and Fatal Pushes don't really hurt my feelings here. Another Thoughtseize kind of does. That's annoying. I really wanted that Spell Queller. A Mutavault. That is actively a pretty decent draw. So now, with the Mutavault, I can untap, attack the invasion with the Mutavault, and then Rattle Chains to protect. So that is a thing that works. And I am also going to... No. Just untap. Don't really want another Hallowed Fountain. So we want to attack the invasion. 2 Fatal Pushes is pretty annoying, to be fair. So there's 1. And now we're going to put the Rattle Chains into play. Make them use the other as well. There it goes. Oh, they actually killed the Rattle Chains and not the Mutavault. Okay. That's fine, because now if they just go like Haunted Ridge, Blood Tithe Harvester, I will at least get to get lost the creature and finish attacking the invasion. So that's actually not bad for me. And I'm also going to put the Mausoleum Wanderer in play. It doesn't grow from the Light Shield array I'm about to make, but it's still pretty good. And I'm not exactly going to be the saddest about a 3/3 Mutavault. So I will be sad if they happen to have a Shieldred they can cast here, because we kind of played around everything else. But as far as starts go, this is not the worst. So they play a Haunted Ridge. Let's see if they have a creature. A Fable. That counts as a creature. Okay. And they're just going to make it explore. Understood. So Thoughtseize, definitely going to the graveyard. They don't really want that. And they're going to make this a potential 4/4. It's a 3/3. Thank you, Urborg. And what do we draw? Another Wanderer. I want to make them trade the token. Yeah, let's see if they want to trade the token. If they want to trade a token, I will just let them. Now we get to do this. Mausoleum Wanderer is going to grow. Oh, you know what? I just realized they didn't have any mana. I don't know why I didn't bother playing this pre-combat. Whoops, mistakes were made. So they get to loot here and hopefully find something that's not super useful. That'd be great. So they do discard Urborg that they had. We already knew about that. 5 mana? Oh, well, that's annoying. Okay, so do I bother protecting? I think the answer is still yes. Yeah, I'm gonna protect. So not happy about specifically Sky Sovereign here. The Spectral Sailor is not great, but it's not the worst either. If they have another creature, it is the worst. And I'm actually not going to pump for additional damage on these here, because I do want Spectral Sailor to live, even if one of these Wanderers has to die for its sake. It's like, I just want the ability to draw extra cards here. I'm being completely honest, not really in a great spot. Oh, well, that's actually really nice. So let's see if this manages to actually untap or do anything nice. What bad things happen to my friends? Go for the throw down the Sailor. Okay, can't do much about that. And what's this? Shieldred's Edict. Okay. I will sacrifice the small one. And let's see if this last card is not a Fatal Push or a Rending Valley. Okay. So now what do we get? Oh, come on. All right. Unfortunate. This does not feel like it's going great so far. Sky Sovereign's really threatening. Yikes. Okay, so they get rid of a Languish to draw a card. Okay. and they duress, which is great for me because my hand sucks. So I probably should have mentioned that is actually why I did not play my land, because sometimes when they're at a relatively high life total, they will just waste a card that's in their hand by trying to duress or thought seize you, especially post board, because they do sometimes board into, damn it, they'll sometimes board into additional threats. I'm sorry, additional discard spells to deal with our stuff, like, oh, come on, to deal with stuff like wedding announcement and whatnot, because, you know, they know a single wedding announcement can just kind of end the game sometimes, and they just don't really want to deal with that. So they'll sometimes board all the way up to as many as 6 or 7 discard spells post combat. So I take this 2, cry about that. We are down to 12, which is especially important because that is exactly 2 Sky Sovereign attacks if they find another power's worth of creature. That's terrible. Unfortunately for me, if they do just attack with the reflection, I will be blocking with Mutavault, and hopefully they just have like another duress in hand. Okay, let's try it. We're gonna block. Oh, no, we're not. Okay, we're gonna untap. And we're already doing bad. Come on, help me out here. Liliana. Okay, not much I can do about that. So I do have a darker waste to discard, which is fine, I guess. And they discard a Thoughtseize and play a Blood Crypt. Okay. All right, deck, help me out here. That is almost the exact opposite of help. What are you doing? All right, so I am going to go ahead and activate this and attack Liliana with it. So let's see if they want to block or what. Nope. Okay, so Liliana's going to go to 2, soon to be 3. I will play to land, because it's not like I'm doing anything else with it. But another thing to notice, too, is that we do currently have, what, 9 mana? No, we have 8. And that is enough if we manage to find another Spectral Sailor to draw 2 cards a turn. So that'll be nice if it ends up coming up. But we are working on a really limited clock here as far as our life total is concerned. And if they're not upticking with Liliana, that also means they're holding probably a removal spell. So that's just a thing to know. Yeah, okay. Come on, man. And I think I'm going to give myself a chance to draw Rattle Chains. So I'm going to hold the land here. No, I should play it. I should play it. Because now I have exactly 9 lands, right? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So that way, even if they have the removal spell, I can still draw a Spectral Sailor and draw 2 cards immediately without needing to untap. I think that's worth more than a potential bluff could be. Okay, so they find and discard a Blood Crypt. Not attacking with Reflection. Not attacking with Reflection. Okay, let's untap. Why? All right. So let's go ahead and see what they want to do now. If they uptick, I think I will be putting that in their hand to make their discard choice a little bit harder. I mean, of course, they do have 3 cards now, which is annoying. They discard a Blood Crypt. Okay. And they're just going to redeploy to Sky Sovereign? Redeploy to Sky Sovereign. You got it. And we untap into a Rattle Chains. Okay. That is not the world's worst to draw step. So let's animate. And if this is like, I don't know, specifically like a Rending Valley or something, then that doesn't help them too much because this is colorless. If they block, then whatever they block. Okay. So that one problem is at least currently solved. This. Okay, so we're going to uptick Liliana. I'm going to go ahead and play my Rattle Chains here. And I'm sure they've been holding the same removal spell for like 45 turns here, so there's no shot this actually survives the turn. But it's better than just like doing nothing, right? And if they use the removal spell, then they still have to discard whatever the last card. Oh my god, it's a stomp. Okay, we're dead. So now they can like discard whatever that last card is and immediately use this to crew this, and I'm on a 2-turn clock. With Liliana being in play, I have no way to actually solve that problem. So we have lost. Anyway, we move on to what? 5-2, I believe. And I guess let's try to get some prizes in the next round. Whatever, GG. Okay, last round of our tournament here, and Jesus Christ, our hand sucks again. All right, not great. This one, I'm not a fan of the 2 pain lands here, but this is better. Yeah, all right. So, looking at our opponent's name here, I think they're on Dark Slick Shores. Never mind, I no longer have thoughts. I don't think things anymore. So, last time I saw their name in the things, they were playing Rakdos Midrange, but okay. I hope to God they're not playing the Grixis Phoenix list. If they are, we are pretty much dead. Thoughtseize. Can't do much about that. You got it. So they probably just take my CO here and then leave me with Spell Pierce, Get Lost, which does not exactly make me the happiest person in the land here, but let's see what we're playing before I start complaining. So I'm going to go ahead and play the Darker Wastes. I will mask the Mutavault for one more turn here, and let's see what they're doing. They could be anything from, heck, I don't know, Neoform to whatever. Actually, that's almost best case scenario. Opponent, please be on Neoform. Sleight of hand, okay. Sleight of hand makes me a little more anxious. I'm now thinking that there probably are on the Phoenix deck. Watery Grave tapped, okay. And now we draw Rattle Chains, which I think is actually pretty good. So let's get an attack in here. And I have a feeling this next turn is going to be the really crucial one here, where they start basically participating. So they have another Consider, and that puts up to 6 cards in their graveyard. They're at 5. Okay, so they kept whatever the card was. So I am still within the territory of being able to Spell Pierce a Treasure Cruise. Clearwater Pathway. Okay. And not casting anything, just untapping. Actual Sailor is not that bad of a draw, actually. So even if I'm only a little more productive, I am more productive. Dang it. They are. That sucks for us. Okay. So I want to, I guess, just let them resolve this. But milling 4 is so many cards. I think I have to let them do this. And they can get the Fatal Push now? Okay. Oh, they choose Thoughtseize. Okay. I don't hate that the most. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Spectral Sailor into play here to protect this. Then I want to put the Rattle Chains in. And let's, I don't know, make it protect itself, I guess. And now that we've gotten to that point, we will let them go ahead and, I suppose, probably take the Get Lost. Yeah, yes. Don't be a, damn it. I was going to say, please don't be a Shieldred. But it is. All right. Oh, sick. Fuck out my face. Shoo. All right. So I'm not going to get to Spell Pierce anything productively anyway, so let's just put them on a clock. All right. So they can play this thing here, and that's a pretty good blocker. They do still have 4 cards, though, so, like, a Treasure Cruise is gonna suck. And there it is. I'm not gonna do anything about that. Like, I technically could have popped this for 1, but why? Okay. There's a Prankster. Another one that we can't particularly do too much about just now. And let's see if they just decide to let us untap from here. What's this? Fatal Push or something? They did just draw 3 cards. Damn, it is. Okay. And they take the Mausoleum Wanderer, which I actually think... Oh, Jesus. That's scary. Are they just going to play, like, another Vigilance thing, then? Or a removal spell? Which is it? Removal spell. Oh, and they had the Phoenix. Ah, okay. Christ. No shot do they attack. Absolutely no shot. You lose on the spot to a Supreme Phantom if you attack. Geistlight Snare. Dang. Okay. Sucks to be us. Okay, so it is going to be a 2/4 as well, and they have a Bitter Triumph as the card. Okay, so let's, I mean, obviously they can attack with this. It's got Vigilance. That's whatever. Can't do much about that. But now we're kind of at the point where my Spell Pierce and Geistlight Snare are being really outpaced here. And my job, oh man, it was there too. Oh, why? Okay, that's unfortunate. Dang, I am so sad about that. What are you casting? Oh, a Cling to Dust. Okay. What are they getting rid of? Get Lost? I'm actually going to Spell Pierce that because, like, I just don't think my Spell Pierce is going to have too much text otherwise. So I would rather have it do something than nothing. So they can go ahead and explore. Yeah, that. I was going to say they can explore this thing if they want to. There's another Bitter Triumph. We knew about that. Wait, is that a new Bitter Triumph? That is a new Bitter Triumph. Oh, come on. Killing me here. Oh, they put that one in the graveyard? That's even scarier. Oh, just another Phoenix. Okay. And I definitely cannot beat another Phoenix, so I think I just have to do this. Make them pay to 3 for it. And hope to draw what? A Shacklegeist? Oh, wait. They gave us an out. They do have Bitter Triumph, but now I can draw a protection spell. So give me another Spell Pierce? Otawara is not a Spell Pierce. Okay. We can play through this. So I'm at 7. How do I get out of this? So if they attack with both creatures again, I'm still not playing around Bitter Triumph, though. I don't think I can win this game. I'm going to try to give myself another turn cycle here. What I can try to do is if they... What are they doing here? A third Phoenix? Come on. No breaks. Okay. That sucks. Okay. That's super unfortunate. So we want portable holes. We want a lot of this stuff. We want invasions. We want wedding announcements. And we certainly have 11 cards to take out. So there's COs. Don't really want the Spectral Sailors. And Spell Queller doesn't have that much worth in a matchup where like they have 55 removal spells and then board into things like Rending Valley. Although, I will say, I'm surprised that this is the first time we played against this deck today. Okay, so now let's be on the play, and... oh, come on. No breaks. Okay. Much better. So here, what do I want to ship? Probably the Supreme Phantom. Yeah, definitely the Supreme Phantom. So we're gonna keep you, put you back, and effectively cross our fingers on the next couple of turns here. If we can resolve this, that will be a really good start, though. Okay, a blue source is almost best case scenario, so that at least means that we are a lot less likely to be able to, you know, have to deal with removal and shit like that. And if they just want to like leave up things like Mystical Dispute with this, then so be it, and I don't really care if they cantrip. Pitching a Treasure Cruise, okay. They're casting the Prankster itself. I think I'm actually just gonna counter this. Yeah. Counter this, resolve the wedding announcement, and then just kind of continue from there. That feels like a real plan. Okay. I want the blue side of this, so this way I can painlessly double spell. And at least now the wedding announcement train has started, so that's a good start. And then starting next turn, if both of these live, then I can attack with both and start drawing cards. If not, soldier tokens are fine too, or humans or whatever these are. Human tokens. This dude looks like something out of Lord of the Rings with that outfit. Huh. Can you tell I don't look at the artwork that much? We are Fatal pushing the Wanderer. You got it. Can't do much about that. So unfortunately, that does mean I'm not going to get to draw a card here, but like... oh, another Prankster. Boo! Yay! Alright, let's get rid of that thing. That's annoying me. And I am going to play the Wanderer despite the fact that I can't protect it. It is what it is. So, reason being, they have exactly 4 cards in their graveyard, and if they play a 4th land, that means they can cast Treasure Cruise, but not pay for Wanderer. So that's kind of a logic train there. So the same goes for this Consider, even if they bin a card with it. If they don't actually have a land to drop, then I can still counter with just this. Okay, 5 plus 3 is still 8. Ledger Shredder is super annoying. Not a fan. Let's draw something cool. That counts as something cool. Thank you, deck. Alright, get that shit out of my face, please. Woo! Alright, so now we actually get to attack, and we're not going to get another human token, but we will get to draw a card, which I kind of value more than that. So now let's see how bad things can get. They have 6 cards in graveyard and 4 mana, which means they can Treasure Cruise with exactly 2 mana open. That is enough to beat the Wanderer. If they happen to have another creature or something, then they can use the map tokens to explore, and that's kind of obnoxious too. So I guess let's just kind of see what happens here, really, is what I'm getting at. Is this a Shieldred? God damn it, it is. Alright, and I've already used my Get Lost, so let's, I don't know, just draw another one, I guess. A Spell Queller, you're late. Alright. So I'm going to attack with the Wanderer anyway. We know that's a thing. And they only have 2 more cards in hand. So that is a real thing to need to consider soon too. Still not exactly happy about the Shieldred doing Shieldred things, but it is what it is. Okay, so this is going to be that Treasure Cruise that we were complaining about. And I can't really do much about it. That sucks so much. They're going to gain 6 more life to this thing. Yep. That's a known quantity. They don't draw the Dark Slick Swords, they put it into their hand. Relevant, because they would gain life. I think I just take this attack and go to effectively 12. Do I cast a spell? I think I kind of have to. Let's think. I can... They did not use the map token on this Shieldred, which means they are holding 3 mana's worth of interaction, and that could be, what, Bitter Triumph plus Mystical Dispute? If I play Rattle Chains... with no one, I'm going to play Spell Queller. I'm going to play the Spell Queller naked. If they want a Bitter Triumph it, then so be it. If they dispute, then that's, I guess, okay. And most other problems are probably solvable with Rattle Chains plus a 2-drop. Okay, so now let's see what happens. Fatal Push on this. Did they use a map token this turn? Yes, that was this turn. Okay, so there's nothing to do about that. It just is what it is. Supreme Phantom is the draw. That's actually not bad for me. So Supreme Phantom, I'm going to cast it now and mask the fact that I have a Rattle Chains in hand for now. I get to attack for 8, take them down to 10. Just keeping in mind that we do know that this, what's this? Bitter Triumph pitching a land. Okay. So I am going to do this and hope to God I'm not stuck dealing with a sweeper. So they take 9, go to 9. This is a 2-turn clock and don't have another Treasure Cruise? Light a hand. Okay. That's not drawing a card. That's a plus. Annoying. Fuck, they found a Treasure Cruise. No breaks today. Okay, understood. We are not the hero today. Oh, wait a minute. They only have 2 mana. All right. Whew. Fatal Push is on top of their deck now. Okay. So if they attack, I effectively go down to 5 and can attack 4, 6, 8, 10. That's not 11. They had to land anyway. Never mind. Okay. So they can block 2, take 4, effectively go up to 9 with their next draw step. They still can't really attack into this human tokens though, because I can threaten like a decent attack on a crackback, which is nice, but like this is rough. But another Get Lost on the Shieldred does almost instantly solve most of this. So deck, if you could help me out and let me draw that, that'd be great. Can't really do much about that. I'm gonna take the 1 and go to 9, effectively 7, unless what's this? Oh, come on. Boo. Not super helpful, but it does technically do something. So this isn't nothing. They block 2, take 4, go to 5, recast a Shieldred. Don't have a draw mechanic of any sort, but please don't have a draw mechanic of any sort. I asked nicely and everything. So I take this, go to 6. Oh my god, it's an opt as well. Okay, sucks to be me. Got it. So I take 6, go down to 4, and Geistlight Snare is nowhere near good enough here. Crap. Yep, alright. That seems to be a tournament, y'all. Looks like we are going 5-3 today. GG's opponent. Today's video brought to you by FusionGamingOnline.com, your one-stop shop for all your gaming needs.
All right, so tournament over, and we did have a bit of a sad-faced 5-3 record, but if I'm being completely honest, 5-3 is not really that bad, right? Like, if you're winning roughly 60% of your matches throughout the entirety of your Magic the Gathering career, you're doing incredibly well. So it is a little bit sad times for us that we, you know, started off 3-0 and then ended up 5-3, but it kind of is what it is, right? Like, we faced against some really hard matchups. Like, we played against the Rakdos midrange deck, we kind of got stomped out by Shieldreds there. We ended up playing against the blue-black version of the Phoenix deck, and while that is a new version of the deck, it doesn't make it easier for us. Like, Phoenix is still just incredibly hard. And then Convoke is just really annoying. We played it 3 times, so losing to it once isn't really that much of a naysay against the deck. And even that loss, we could have just like drawn a 4th land for a Settled Wreckage at almost any point during that last game, and I think I'm okay with that. So if it ends up being that we really want to just like focus test against the higher end of the meta, then what I want to do here is play all 4 wedding announcements in the board. Of course, that's not going anywhere. But I also want to play around with as many as 3 copies of Rest in Peace. And of course, this is going to be primarily for the Phoenix matchup, but remember that decks like Greasefang are also getting Cavern of Souls, which means that these matchups may actually be matches that you have to think about. So I'm going to start playing with as many as 3 Rest in Peace just to ensure that we have one a lot more often against decks like Phoenix, but also that we have a decent amount against other decks that are looking to use the graveyard as well. The other card that I'm a little iffy about, but this has always been the case, is Catilda. So Catilda is very, very good against the hyper aggressive decks. So like against mono white and against Boros Convoke, she's an absolute all-star. My problem with Catilda is that she's still a 3-mana sorcery unless you have Rattle Chains already in play. And that's just like not exactly the life I want to live most of the time, right? Like, the entire point of Spirits is to be able to do most of your stuff at instant speed, and Catilda is not only a sorcery speed play, but she's also a turn 3 play. And that's usually where you want to either be double spelling with something like Curious plus Interaction, or holding up for something like a Spell Queller. And her being a 3-mana sorcery kind of violates that. What's worse is that in the matchups that you want her against, a lot of them will have damage-based removal, like say Rending Valley. And she's going to only be like a 2-2 or a 3-3 most of the time. So managing to get her out and put her in a situation where she's likely to survive actually can be pretty difficult. So it'll be a thing that I see over the next few weeks, whether I really do want her as an extra hedge against those decks, or whether I'm just like, don't really want a sorcery and instead find something else to go in that spot. Either way, we'll see. But that's going to be it for today's list. Lots of really sweet games. 8 matches is kind of a lot more Magic than I'm used to playing in any really week, let alone one tournament, right? And Get Lost was very, very, very impressive. Like, I am a huge fan of that card after just one tournament. So I'm really happy to play with and keep in copies of Get Lost in our 75, but I think going forward this is probably closer to where I want to be in the next couple of weeks. Once again, we'll see. This is definitely not a set in stone kind of thing. This is just me playing around with yet another starting point for this list as we get closer to the American Regional Championship. Anyway, this is going to be our Azorius Spirits gameplay for today, and honestly just a good time talking again with all of y'all about this deck, the tournaments that are coming up, and really just the position of Pioneer as a whole now that Lost Caverns is finally live. So what do you think about this format? Are we really skeeved out by the prevalence of Convoke and Discover decks? Are we going to be playing with whatever your old faithful of choice happens to be? What do you think you're going to be doing within the space of the Pioneer format? And for everybody who is playing Spirits, are you continuing to play Azorius? Are you moving over to Bant Spirits? What are you doing in your own spaces as well? Anyway, let me know in the comments. It's been a really long time since I've gotten to catch up with everybody. And that's going to be our gameplay video for today. So as always, if you like what you're watching, make sure to click like on the video, let me know, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We are almost at 2,000, and I'll see y'all on the next one.